Hello everyone. So in this video I'm going to go over how I built my second newest base, or white base, as you see a little mark right here, the Canopy inspired base, which after I built it, that's when I realized it looked more like a canopy. So it's not really inspired by a canopy, it's just more of a canopy design. So we're going to go up this oak branch, and we're on the fallen oak branch, and we're on the, if you're coming from this end, if you're coming from the western end, you're going to take the second one to the right, which is also where the Burgle quest takes you to put the marker on the fallen oak branch. So we're going to look at one, not falling off the branch. Two, you see there's a piece of sap. You can see the hand popping up, and that's where we're going to set our stairs, just short of that piece of sap right there. These walls are here for, to keep you from falling off, and it does connect out to the porch, as well as zip line anchor in the front with a small tower up on top, since it's already really high up. So I'm going to switch over to, and it's also, like I said, it's anchored right here on, there's a fork of the branch. They're kind of hard to see. It's anchored back here, and this fork up here, which is hard to see on the map. But you can see it's two anchor points, is the branch where you put the marker, and then this other smaller branch, which is just tall enough to catch and actually anchor in. So that's why all this says supporting 0, as well as it's anchored to the porch. I like having my bases anchored in multiple spots, so that in case one thing accidentally gets broken or deleted, the whole thing doesn't come crashing down. But this is the other branch you can see where it's anchored in as well. So I'm gonna switch over to creative now, and we'll get started with the build. So give me just a moment, I'll be right back. All right, so here we are in creative. You see there's no base up on the branches, and I'm gonna actually start down here, because down here I have a set of stairs going to the north and to the south of the oak tree, or the fallen oak branch, just to get supplies up to the tree. So it's a pretty simple little build. Start with the grass floor up here, and then it's just stairs down. I mean, bounce hoods might work. I did stairs here, which I know is out of character for me. We'll do this side real quick. Now you see it's not letting me attach the stairs right there. It comes up red. So we're gonna start with some walls. In the real game, that would be a blueprint. You wouldn't complete it. You don't need to complete that if you don't want to. It does not really matter. But having that there, and this one actually attaches to the floor. So now it's anchored to the floor. I can go ahead and delete this. That way I don't have anything blocking my view. And we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to do the vertical wall, which would be a blueprint, like I said, and then drop down. And then it's just, repeat, get the stairs built. Like I said, bounce webs would work here too. It's up to you what you want to do. I did stairs, which uncharacteristic for me, but that's what I did. Now this one should be low enough that the second set of stairs right into the mud. So I just run straight up. You would then delete these blueprints. So now you have a way to get up on both sides of the fallen oak branch to get grass from either side, or dry grass if you need it. You will need it for the lights and stuff. Plus there's a bunch of sap. You will have a bunch of lawn mites that like congregate right here at the bottom of this. They may damage this, but they're not going to break it as long as you keep an eye on it. Every so often bring your repair tool down there and whack it a few times to fix it. So I decided to build up here because I didn't have a base in this part of the yard. My original idea for putting a base over here was the corner of the porch. But as we all know, in October they put a jack-o'-lantern over there, and so that didn't happen. So like I said, we mentioned, this is a good marker for me to start my build. As you see, it doesn't want to take, so that might be a little bit of a problem. But there's also 3, you can kind of see the 2 notches. There's a notch right there, and as I rotate the camera, you can see the second one, and the third one you kind of can't really see. But you don't want to go too much higher than this, just because if you do, you're gonna not connect to the other piece of the branch that I mentioned earlier in the video. And it does go one section past this as well. It is 7 sections wide, so this is 7 floor sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now 1, 2, 3, 4. This is being the middle one, is where I went straight back to the porch. You can see this base is already set up a little bit crooked from the other one, but I still should connect easily with that up there. So let's go ahead and get the bottom floor built real quick. So it's 10 sections front to back. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we're gonna go this way, and you see that anchors quite nicely into that branch right there. And that's what you want. You want to have your bases anchored in more than one spot, so that in case something breaks, something accidentally gets deleted, you don't have an entire base falling, causing a bunch of lag, causing you to have to reload your game. I've seen it happen. I've seen people forget that they could reload their game, and it wasn't a good day. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm counting out to 4 because 4 is the middle, and that is where the anchor is. I think, if I remember correctly, my anchor platform was actually a full... I don't know why that one's way out there. So if you come in 2 from each side after you go for the full 10, this is where the incoming zipline anchor goes. Because you're high enough up, hopefully the rest of your towers are tall, so that they can reach over with no problem. So now I'm just going to kind of finish building the ground floor. And then once I get the ground floor built, that's when I'll focus on getting those stairs done that you saw in the beginning of the video, which do lead down to that branch. Now, yep, the positioning is off just a bit from what I used in the real game, but that's okay. I can work with that. You don't once you get that built, you can then come around and do a little these, and that's going to be where your stairs are attached to. And I see that says supporting 0, so I'll delete that. Nothing gets messed up. I'm going to drop down onto the branch, try not to fall. And I'm going to come back with stairs. Just for the simple, easy way to get up here. Now, this one didn't want to take. It took me some... I'm also a little bit further over. You see my positioning is off just a bit. So you don't really have to go any more than that if you're comfortable with that. I put that there as a deterrent for when I'm running up. I don't run past it. You see I'm not quite as far over as I was in the original video, in the original spot. But it still works. You still have your way up. Still nice and easy way in. And now we have our ground floor all laid out. Now I tried to keep it as wide open as possible. So I used the little corner scaffolding. And 2 of them per corner. They're only 1 weed stem each, so they're pretty cheap. An easy way to get height in your building. Even though I'm going to build walls that wrap around it too. So this is more for... me just building up. Eventually it's all going to be like, you know, nicely covered and decorated and stuff. That doesn't go like that. That goes up there. Now that gives you your height to the second floor. So now what I did is I went to these sturdy walls because they have that line, and I started making you know, more of a design. I don't remember how the design actually went. I'm sitting here thinking about it. I think it all kind of slopes like so. And I may have actually done something like that just to carry that line up. And on the second floor, that line will go in the opposite direction. So this is all kind of, you know, how do you want to make it look? How do you want it to do? You could do like that and just have that nice angle, and maybe even take this down, turn that line around. Since your angle goes up, it's like this. This is all personal preference on how you want those lines to look. And the same thing back here. I'm going to spin that around just to make a little bit of a design look. And keep clicking the wrong one. And then on the front side of that, just to kind of fill it in, make it look so I didn't have that scaffolding, I wanted to hide the scaffolding with some pretty walls. And I'm going to do that for all 4 corners. So I have the bottom ones that angle up. I have the one above it angle the opposite direction, just for the line to go the opposite way. And it gives you a nice design look when you're when you step away and get a good distance on the base. Or that can go right there, because reasons. And the same thing, we'll come over here and sturdy wall. The bottom one for me angles up. The top one angled down. If you're looking at the, when I say angled, I'm talking about the wheat stem that goes diagonally across the wall. So this gives you a very nice kind of wide open look to your base. I forgot to put the wheat stem walls over there. Let's go back. Another thing too, while you're building, make sure you bring stuff to make a lean-to. Bring, especially, and if you're not near food or water source, bring plenty of food, plenty of water. So I'm going to go ahead and, because when I was building this, I did throw a lean-to down, kind of just back here in the corner, out of the way for now. That way, when it comes time to sleep, I can sleep and continue working the next day. But I would always suggest bringing a lean-to with you just for that exact reason. All right, so now I have all the supports kind of laid out. Now we go at the next floor. So the next floor, you would obviously be laying blueprints. You wouldn't be laying the actual floor. Whereas here, I'm making sure my floor is laying the same way. Now it is easier to build from the, if you can get up there, build the floor up first. But you know, you can also just lay blueprints from down here. You're not far enough away that you can't reach easily. You can even, if you wanted to complete these blueprints from down here, you could just jump and spam the build button. On PC, that would be E unless you free mapped it. So we're just kind of filling in all the holes right now. Now I'm going to be careful exactly where I go with this, because the stairs up, center stairway, this is where I put my set of stairs going up to the next level. Because it's only going up too high, I only went with stairs instead of a bounce web. I need that to line up in just the right spot. That is perfect. That's exactly where I want it. Now, I know which way the stairs are going to angle, so I'm going to put these walls so that they angle with the stairs. Just for the look. Now, I know a lot of this, you're probably thinking, you don't have to build all this. Like, I don't have to put the scaffolding in here if I don't want to, because the walls will support the stairs. I originally built the stairs before I built the walls, and I wasn't tearing down the scaffolding. And you see how this angled wheat stem lines up perfectly with the stairs. And then just to kind of complete the look, obviously all this is preferential. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. Actually, I don't have that there. I just have the top one for the look. So you have that. And this gives you a good spot for putting anything you want to mount on the wall, would be like weapon racks or stuff like that. I think in mine I have the little cook pit is right here. Not that I use it, but it's there. And this is a good spot too to put some lights. Another good spot is in here, which we'll get to lighting in here in a little bit. Let's get the main structure built first. Alright, so now we're up here to the second floor. I'm going to go ahead and finish laying the rest of the floor, and then we will do the roof. Because this is a rather small base compared to some of the other things I've built. And yes, I see that piece on the edge. I have to go delete that. Alright, so now we're going to do Similar thing with the corner pieces and stuff. Before I put in the corner brackets like that, I'm going to come down here and look. And actually, this piece, I probably should turn it around. I know that sounds like a lot, but I'm going to do it because I can. And the reason why is because once you build the top floor and you make the wall go a certain way, it will give a nice little pattern. Now, I know you could just do just this for your corner, and that could be your corner. You don't have to do all this other stuff that I put in there. Like I said, I built it this way because that's how I wanted to. If you don't want to do that, obviously that is up to you. It's your world. You know, build the way you want. So I'm just going through fixing these walls because they are facing the wrong way for the pattern that I'm going to be doing here in a little bit. And if you look at the thumbnail, you'll see the pattern that I'm talking about. Even in the thumbnail, the way I have the wall set up is actually different than the way I'm doing it here. Because in the thumbnail, this wall doesn't go this way, which now that I see it, I kind of don't like the way I have it set up in my world. I'm actually come back and change it, you know. Other than the fact that it would be a pain in the butt. Alright, so I'm just going to fix these back here real quick. So I'm going to pause while I fix all that, just so you guys are sitting here watching me delete and rebuild stuff. Alright, so I'm back. I've got my walls all fixed and finished. I also slept so that it wouldn't be getting super dark in the middle of the video. Now, if we kind of spin the camera, you can see those lines are all angled out. So the next lines I want to be angled are in. So I want these all to angle this way, if I can get it to line up, including this one. Now, with the way this is set up, there is, you know, it only goes up to here. There's no more on top of that because that's where the roof pieces go. Okay. Now, I'll just drop down and show you what I was talking about with the design. As you can see, the lines, they all point in the same direction, all pointing to here. Now the next part on top of that is actual roof. So, I'm still going to do the same way I did because I like to build, you know, consistency. Obviously, none of this is actually needed. It's just for look. Now, on top of that is where we put some of the roof. And I use the squared roof corner to do the actual roof pieces. And that one's not even attached. Isn't that lovely? So, may have issues getting the blueprints to sit exactly in the right spots. There, that's correct. Another thing too I would suggest is get your next set of stairs in place, just so that because you can start building the floor up and then do the stairs off of that. Now this one I did use a scaffolding right here because you can run up the stairs through the scaffolding with no problem, and that way I can then throw stairs directly on top of each other and not interfere with my way of getting upstairs to the next level. I don't know why I deleted that blueprint. And the same thing, the stairs are going to look the exact same. And this is going to be to your top floor. Now, the way I built mine was I decided not to close in the upper roof 100%. So I basically have one piece of flooring up here. And this all goes one short of the edge because I have to do the roof here in a little bit. But I want to build up and over towards that corner so I can get on the edge of the roof. Just in creative, you see that's the blueprints do that. They don't always want to participate in the way you want this to go. Cooperate is the word I was looking for, though. So that is going to be where the floor, the edge of the floor is. But I would recommend making sure you get your roof blueprints laid out before you do complete the floor up there, just so you don't overbuild the floor and go too far out, because that is possible. So same thing, we're gonna get these walls in place. They're all gonna angle. So you see, if I can get the camera to spin, these are angled up and to the right, so I want this one to be angled down and to the left. And I'm gonna make that one angled just the opposite direction. And then grab this. It actually goes here. And this is all just for look. Obviously you don't have to do this, but this is what I wanted to make my base look like. And now if you can get the, the blueprints sometimes will work pretty well from the ground. You don't have to be up top. I wouldn't do that one. I would actually go back to my walls. So I want them angled down. You see they're angled down into the either left or right, depending on which way you're headed. And then I can come down here, since I can kind of see the edges of the inverted triangle wall piece right there. I can just kind of come over here and put these on top of it. That lets me know exactly where my edges are and which way the weed stem on the wall needs to slope. So now I'm going to go put in my corner pieces real quick. These are close enough together that I'll just do the two of them like that. And then run and go do the last one. Okay. And that's going to be it for the floor up here, because the roof is going to lean in and complete the rest of that. Wrong way. And then I'm just going to keep going across, because with the walls and everything there, it's already kind of anchoring it. I'll come back for that corner piece of roof in just a second, if I can get that to work. There. So that is the complete roof of the second story. Up here is a bunch of armor dummies, the bed and everything, but I'm going to finish the build real quick. So now we get to my bounce web towers. And obviously I want it to be right in the middle. As you can see, this is 5 wide, so I'm going to go right to the center one, which is the third one. And then off of that, I'm going to build my little bounce web tower. I believe the bounce web tower on top of this one is 6 stories tall, so that's kind of small. I'll just go ahead and build the whole thing. Oh, that's not supposed to be there. No wonder my camera got all kinds of screwy. So, and as of course, with the stairs, it's always a good idea to put some handrails around them so you don't fall down. I will surround the rest of this in handrails too, but for now we're going to do the bounce web, which is going to be right back here. And you see that bounces me up, and I'm going to try to land on this wall, lay out my next piece of floor so I can stand here and work. That's what I need. And then, finish it in. If you guys have not seen my video on bounce web tower designs, I will link that in the description below. But that's, I have a video that shows exactly how I've set this up and how it. And there's actually more designs. There's bigger designs. There's this is probably the cheapest design because it's only 6-sided. There's an 8-sided square, 8-sided actual octagon, And then there's a 10-sided rectangle, which is very expensive to build just because of how many extra the wheat stems you need. And then if I can get that bounce wood to go backward in blue. And then same thing, we're going to be trying to land on that edge. You see I missed. So probably the easiest way to do it so you don't actually, fly off is to land right here. And then, tightrope walk your way around. And what I did, instead of doing the angle floor pieces, I actually did just 6 full floor pieces for my way out. Because this is where the the zipline anchor is to leave this place, is up here. And then I have bases that are all over the map that I can connect to and get it going. Now, I also do put a bunch of lights in my towers, just so that you have, good visibility if you're coming up here at night or whatever. Okay. I like to put the lights right over here in this corners. Keeps them out of the way for when you're bouncing, but still provides plenty of light to the tower. And you try to land to the side of this one. There we go. So now we're just kind of doing some of the fine tuning, because the structure's built. That is the structure of the base. And then of course some lights up here. I typically put them back here out of the way. They provide enough light, but they're not in the way of me trying to leave. And then there's a lot of handrails here. But nice thing is, you don't have to worry about sprigs, because directly underneath this base is what I refer to, and I think many others do too, the sprig forest, where there's a couple hundred sprigs underneath the container for one of those hot dogs from across the street over there. But you do have to be careful. There are spiders, including a wolf spider, that does sometimes wander into the sprig area. It doesn't always just stay in its certain little spots. I have to find that one that I just built. I think it's underneath. Not a huge fan of the thing right in the center of my screen, though. I don't know if anybody else feels that way. And then on one side is where I put... Oh, it helps if I find it. I have weed stem storage over here. I'm just going to throw a few of these down. Actually, before I even start, it's always a good idea. Lights. Because it does get dark in the game. And then however many weed stem pallets you want to use, if you even want to put them up here at all. That's up to you. I think I did 3. Then another light. Since they don't ever burn out, which is always, nice. It would suck if they did. I think I managed to squeeze a total. Yeah, I did easily put a total of 6 up here, which is more than enough for the space. I mean, there's 21 per pallet, so 6 of them is well over 100. And then the same thing on this side, but obviously we're not doing weed stems. We're going to do grass on this side. Now this one I think was only 4, just because of how much bigger these pallets are, which I still don't understand why these pallets are so big. Yeah. Why the pallets aren't as small like the weed stem ones, but it is what it is. And then the same thing, another light. That way there's plenty of light up here, so if you come up here at night trying to go to another base, you're not like fumbling around in the dark. You can even put a light right there at the top of the stairs, maybe a little bit better centered, but I'll leave that. And that is the upper floor, where I have my pallet storage and my line out. Down in here on these corner walls, at each edge of the wall I put a light. I'm gonna around do that. Which one was that on? 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. I like things to all be very, very symmetrical. I guess it's a whole military dress, right dress. Everything's got to be the same. Alright, so now, once again, we're going to do more handrail so you don't fall. There's a handrail. Can I delete it? Okay, that's the beauty of creative. Click the button and it puts it somewhere. You have to go find it. Now this handrail seems a bit redundant for what I'm about to do right there. Now these are 8 spaces, and there are currently 7 armor sets in the game. Make sure he's facing the right way. I want him to face out, not in. So I have 8 of them centered on the grass floor right there, with a set of armor in all of them. The one set that's not over here at this space right now, which is the 8th one that's coming, is the B armor. Which, you know, if I open up creative, I'm in creative actually. Sorry, if I open up my menu and start crafting, I could craft the B armor right now. But I have armor on all of those. I personally just put the bed up here in the corner, right up against the wall. Not on the wall. What the hell? And like I have in every single base, as soon as I turn that light on, there's a bed by the box. A box by the bed. Or a bed by the box, whichever. This is the box that I put whatever in. This corner over here, opposite of the bed, somebody asked me where my spinning wheels were one day when I was running around this base. And this is where I put them. Trying to keep from having too much stuff along the edges. I mean, yes, there's armor dummies here, but they're spaced out pretty well. You know, there's a lot of space. Up here is where I put the workbench, right between these lights, up against this wall. And the reason being is this gap between right here is where I put my actual shelf storage. And so I grabbed the, what is it? Wheat stem walls like I always do. It's just my preferred method of doing this. And I put them 3 sections apart. So you see at 1, 2, 3. And then boxes. This is where the boxes go. Turned sideways so you can fit more of them. Using the line on the floor to line them up is the best you can. And if you squeeze them in closely, I think I did. I squeezed them in really close in this base. A lot closer than they probably should, because you see some of them are still sticking through the other one in front of it. Now that's not very straight, because I'm just kind of put them down quickly. But in my game, I think they're a lot straighter than that. Now, I didn't have to do this. I could have done, see how I got the shelves at the top? I could have done that wrapping around the room, like I have in my orange base, my mushroom-inspired base video that I have. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to kind of use just the shelf system. Keep it a little more organized. Right here at the back of the steps. And then you just keep going across, all the way across the whole thing. I'm only going to do a few on each row. Now, a good method to make sure that they don't stick over the edge is to put the blueprint of this down. And the front, you see, it doesn't want to take because they're right up to the edge. But see, if I'd had that there first, all the way across, they would have been more straight in line. So that's another good way to keep them all in line, is to put up the little the sprig railing. Oh yeah, let me turn on my lights. Now I did leave the top open, you know, a little opening in the roof, just because I didn't really need that much space up there, and so I've decided to leave a little extra visual feature. And then this does have a closure on the back of it right here, with a light directly above it. And then I have, where is it? I think weapon racks, roughly spaced. Try to make them spaced as evenly as I can. I think there's 8 of them in this base, all spaced right here on the set of stairs, which is why I put the walls up in the first place. It's because I knew I was going to use them for stuff like this. And then I could come back and literally put a light right between them. Sorry, hit the wrong button on my keypad. Alright, so that is the upper floor. Pretty well spaced out. Lots of open space. Obviously, if you don't want to build this wide open, I will work on doing a minimalistic base build and a kind of everything packed together, not all spaced out like that. That'll be a video I work on soon. Now this floor piece right here, you could actually delete that, and it wouldn't affect anything. It wouldn't affect the way anything looks, and it would actually look a little more open going up. That's up to you though. And then down here, like I said, we still do some more lights right in the center spot again, where the that middle vertical line crosses the weed stem. Now, before I build anything, I'm actually going to put up the handrails first. Now, the handrails out here in the front only go out that far. They don't go all the way to the edge. And instead of doing these here because it won't take because of the little half wall, which is why you see in my world, they go this way. So no somebody's wondering why I put them on the angle. Because of this inverted triangle wall, these won't go up against there, so they come off that way. And then just because you're up really high, handrails. Oh yeah, that's where I wanted that. And once you get the bed in place, you can get rid of your lean-to. Sorry about that. And the same thing. We're gonna go. Was that onto the third one right there? This actually provides a decent amount of light, especially with the lights on the stairs in the center. You don't really need to add a whole lot more, I mean, unless you want to. And it is totally up to you. I still have to add lights on the bridge that leads out to the porch, the patio over there. Okay, so sorry, food prep. I have this little guy kind of stashed over here, kind of out of the way. I'll put it right there. My base is shifted a little bit different than this, but it's still in the right general area. As I've said in previous videos, every one of my bases, regardless of the fact I don't use these things, has mushroom gardens. But I do use mushrooms for the smoothie question marks, which I use for my healing. Now to the left side, if you're facing to the western side of this base, because the shed is to the north, the house is to the south, is where I put the jerky racks. And they went way up into the corner. They're pretty wide open as far as the way they look, so they don't really obscure the view too much, so I didn't have a problem with running them along the edge. And then you have to angle. I angled mine because I wanted to put 4 in here. That way they wrapped all the way around. I put my marker, because my incoming zipline anchor is there. I put my marker back here on this corner. Let me turn these lights on. Just so that the marker would not be in the way of me coming in off the zip line, but would still be close enough to the zip line when I was trying to connect to this one that I would see that the marker right next to the zip line would make it easy for me to see it, especially since I don't have any blur, which I do have a video on that posted. I'll put that in the link to, in the description below as well, for removing the blur from your game. Now, one last thing we got to work on, 2 last things we got to work on. First is the water. You have to have a way to make water, which is one of the things I would also recommend too. The moment you get this floor built and you're satisfied with the way you want it, build at least one of these. That way, while you're working over here, you don't have to worry about, does my canteen have enough droplets in it? Because you've got these things. And they'll produce water for you. Obviously, that's what they're for. And then I always put water tanks in every base because we have had it to where the our water producers stopped producing water. That was, you know, a couple months ago, but still, I always try to prepare. And so that is the base. That is my smaller canopy base. Still has a lot of open space in it. It could be smaller if I wanted it to be, but then it might feel a little cluttered. But I mean, if you wanted it to be smaller, you see there's room that you can shrink it down a little bit. And now to finish out the video, I will then connect to the actual porch back there. Obviously, it took longer in the real game because I had to bring the grass with me in a nice long run. And like I said, when you're building this, if you decide to do this as well, or if you build anywhere near this particular area, that dry grass area down there to the lower right of where you see, There's a wolf spider that lives there, so you really don't want to fall there. Now, like I said, I'm gonna do it, even though it is creative, and there's no danger. Even though I did kill a lawn mite before I started this video in creative, which is weird. Which is where I got. Oh, I didn't pick him up. I was that's where I got the lawn mite fuzz from, but there's no lawn mite fuzz on my character. So building the stairs down is very similar to the way I built the stairs coming off the oak lab at the beginning of the video when I switched over to creative, and how I built them down that way. I'm going to do that here in just a second. I do want to get these handrails done just because, well, safety and reasons. So now you got your handrails done. You can run across here, not to worry about falling off and meeting a wolf spider that probably didn't want to meet. So now you see we're clearly over the porch there, the back porch. So now I'm just going to go with regular grass, and I need to build one wall up so I can build walls beneath it. As you can see, I've now built 2 walls straight down. So I'm going to jump down to the porch. You see I built these 2 walls down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue that wall down to the ground. And what that is going to let me do is now I can build stairs up there, which attach right to the bridge itself. And now I've got to do more walls. And this is just going to be a quick, wall, stair, wall, stair, wall, stair, all the way down. Probably could have just built the last set of stairs without the walls, but that's okay. And now you're actually connected and even anchored to the porch. So your base is now anchored in 3 spots. And then, if you want, you can put the handrails on this. And the handrails are pretty simple to make. It literally is just, you can either put these to where they're halfway through, like so. And then make handrails. You can even do the inverted portion of the handrails to make them look better. Trying to get it to sit correctly, though, is... Oh, there it is. Sometimes a pain. So you can do the inverted, which then allows you the ability to make it look nice from the sides. This is all preference at this point. But you see, it's can get a little bit tricky getting them all to line up correctly, but if you do... You alternate these back and forth, you can kind of throw them down pretty quick. I say that when a thing doesn't want to take. And you see, now there's a gap right here that I'm going to try to close. So the inverted triangle wall. And of course I had one go in the wrong spot. And it doesn't want to delete very easily. Damn it. It's alright. I mean, honestly, you don't need the inverted triangle walls. There is enough of a gap that you can get it done without that. I'm not too worried about the stairs I just deleted because they'll go right back. I mean, that's not a problem there. Alright, back to this. Now we'll jump over the side because I saw that it was easier to build from down here. Now, you have a nice staircase with handrails all the way up that lead up to this. Now there is no handrail right here, so you could, do something like that if you wanted. That would look kind of weird though. So you have this one little spot where you might fall off, so you gotta be careful of that. But that is how I built my canopy base. And as you can see, like I said, what I was saying about those lines earlier, how they point in. So you have those nice lines in. If you look at my thumbnail, that line is backwards, and I may take the time to go in and tear it all down and fix it. And it's going to be, I won't have to tear it all down. It should just fix a couple sections of wall. It should be pretty simple. But if you guys like this video, like this kind of content, want to see more like it, hit that like and subscribe button. I do stream on my YouTube Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday in the afternoons. Obviously, I will not be streaming tomorrow since tomorrow is Christmas. Actually, it would be today when this video releases. So, like I said, hit that like and subscribe button. Stop by the channel if I'm streaming. Say hi. Ask me any kind of questions you got. But until the next video, you guys have a good one.